Well, greetings, blade fanatics. This old sword is back with you once again, and I said fanatics because you really need to be one to appreciate this blade I'm going to show you next. And what we have before us today is the Viper Knives Rhino-1. Not the Rhino, not the original, but the Rhino-1 is what they're designating this one as. There it is. This one came from White Mountain Knives. It is in a satin finish. There is a bead blast, there is a micarta handle, etc. And I left it closed because we want to make the big reveal, but also to show you the fantastic carbon fiber on this knife. Now, the original, there was some question about whether it was a laminate or not. This is definitely not a laminate. This is carbon fiber, thick carbon fiber through and through. And being that this is an Italian-made knife, it's almost required for them to crown everything. So it's a lockback knife, as you can see. The backspacer is crowned. The lock bar is crowned. There we have a clip that not everybody's going to love, but I have come to appreciate it. I think it was well done, even though, yes, it's on the pivot end of the knife. And a lot of people are going to scream and shout, garage knife. I don't know if they ever bought a garage knife. I think I did. But anyway, this is a quality knife from Elmax steel, thumb stud opener, lockback knife, quality through and through. The same quality you might attribute to a mid-tech or even a custom knife. There's lots to be appreciated with this knife. So let's get started. Are we ready? There is the 4¼ inch blade of the Rhino. Double ground. Now, one might think that's a hollow in there. What I'm feeling is a flat and a flat. So we've got a taller grind in here, and we have a more shallow grind there. And what can only be described as a rhinoceros horn shaped knife, perhaps. It's part sheep's foot, it's part tanto maybe, it's part drop point. I don't know what you'd call it. I think someone else tried describing it and they were having as much of a tough time as I am right now. It is thick and hand-filling in a very comfortable, secure way. It has beautiful file-like jimping. It has an extremely sharp edge. Witness my finger in trying to close this beast using the lockback. Don't put your finger in the way. Get your fingers back here. It's not really, it's a one-hand opener, but it's not necessarily a one-hand closer, and I'll show you that in a minute. Won't get into it right now. Heavily contoured and sculpted with finger grooves in the handle. As I said, the lock release is jimped. Everything is crowned, including the blade. It's just beautifully, beautifully done. As you can see, the thing just glows. Now, the blade may turn you off right away, but hey, I wasn't sure on this one, but I may be keeping it. It may be one of those that just kind of grows on you. And you know, once a knife bites you, you got to have some love for it, right? Okay, here we go. Are you ready? 10 inches overall. Yes, you heard me right. 10 inches overall. 4¼ on the blade. 4¼ on the cutting edge. And inches across the handle. 0.84. Very hand-filling. I'm just trying to get it in place there. 0.15 on the blade for thickness, 3.9 millimeters, just shy of 4 millimeters. So thick, but not that thick. Here is the one that is going to get you. And I'm going to use two hands to close this. Let's put her on the scale. Are you ready? Drum roll. 9.997 ounces. We've got a 10-ounce knife, 10 inches long and 10 ounces in weight. Isn't that interesting? So there is, again, the Rhino-1 by Viper Knives. How about comparisons? You may be thinking large knives and that thing called the Sandstorm from Max Ace. Well, same size knife. Same size knife. Actually a little narrower in the handle here and a little taller in the handle on the Rhino-1. A little taller in the blade here on the Sandstorm. But maybe if we were to measure it right at the horn here, at this thing we could call a harpoon, we've got a little over 1.25 inches. If we measure the high point on the Sandstorm, we get 1.75 inches. Got to go over that thumb stud. So yeah, about a 1/2 inch taller on this blade. You wouldn't know it looking at them. And of course the materials are a little less. You got K110, you got G10 for the handle. Still, it's an amazing knife. If you can pick up a Sandstorm, by all means do so. Now, this isn't going to be a fidgety knife with that lockback, and that blade is under tension most of the time until it finally rests inside the handle. So when you close it, this is very easily worked, by the way, and the lockup is phenomenal. It's every bit as tight as a cold steel. I'm not saying the lock is going to be as strong as a triad lock, but we don't know unless we torture test it. And I ain't torture testing this one just yet. So I can easily depress that, but the blade doesn't drop because it's under pressure from the spring, okay? And the best way to do it is to walk it in, so good old two-hand method. Now, you can open it up with a little wrist and the thumb stud, no problem, very smooth. And you can do what I tried to do, which is I had my finger up here when I did it. But if I go way back here for safety's sake, I don't want this to swing on my finger again, you can do that and you can actually close it. So a couple of steps you can do one hand, or if you're brave, you can try doing it all with one. Let's talk about the clip, which is kind of the rhinoceros in the room, so to speak. It only fits in one place. There is a little cutout underneath the scale. There is none on the other side, and there is none on the pommel end. So you got what you got here. But see if I can use some paper as an example. Not the best thing in the world to use as an example. But if I slide this paper up under here, it's fairly tight, by the way. I may even rip the paper. We'll see. There we go. So potentially, you can deep carry this knife. Told you I was going to tear it. Yeah, it's got a good amount of tension on there. Actually not. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's not bad, really. And I did have it in and out of my jeans without a big problem. You could probably get it in and out of a medium thickness clothing. You've got enough upturn there where you can get it over just about anything. I'm going to try it a few more times in the pants over the next few days, carry it around. Just came in the other day. And again, really beautifully appointed. I didn't mention a little hidden lanyard pin. Very nice. I didn't mention the crowned spacer on the very butt end of the knife. And look how carefully the handle matches that downturn, that sheep's foot part of the blade. Nesting nicely in there, so this prevents you from riding on that. If I started here and pushed in, I can get a little bit of a pinch there from the point. So if you try purposely to get your thumb stuck on that point, you will. Then again, it's riding with the point down. So that's actually not a bad thing, and it does provide some safety. The clip seriously is growing on me. When I first saw it, I said, why'd they do that, you know? But it also drapes over the handle very smoothly. I've never seen a clip quite like this before, that it rolls around the scales. And you may or may not like the holes on it. I'm not going to dwell on the clip a whole lot. Hey, it works. And look at that side of the knife if you don't like that side of the knife. It's right hand only, tip down carry, okay? Now, another Viper, and the only one that I've reviewed up till now, is this beautiful little Lille 2. And there's a Lille 1, which is a different blade shape, and a Lille 2. This comes with a beautiful fat carbon fiber they call Arctic blue. And it's a real minimalist kind of fixed blade EDC. Very similar shape, wouldn't you say? Look at that. Out near the tip. Almost identical, all right? I'm going to get you just a little bit of information on the designer. It's an Italian designer. So the designer is Fabrizio Silvestrelli, and produced by Viper. And I'm reading this off of Knife Center. If I back up a little bit, we'll show you a few of the models. So there is the model you're seeing on my table today. There is the same model for about 25 bucks less with a Palo Santo wood handle. Again, I'm at the Knife Center website. There is a version with the bead blasted blade and the canvas micarta handle, like a greenish. Then we've got the bead blasted blade if you don't like this satin blade, with the carbon fiber handle, same price, $204. And the same prices on White Mountain pretty much, by the way. And then here is a canvas micarta handle, heavy canvas micarta, with the stonewash blade. There's a blackened blade, and there's a blackened blade with a black handle. So lots of choices, coming in anywhere from 176 to 210. Let's put this little guy away. This is a beautiful knife, and did a review on this one. It comes with an excellent Kydex sheath with an ulti-clip from the factory and a nice little push-off there, which I love. Wish more companies would do that. Taking another look around, the Rhino-2, or Rhino-1, I was going to call it the Rhino-2 because it's the second iteration. First one was D2, and the handle materials weren't quite as nice. This has got, again, a beautiful carbon fiber handle material, beautiful crowning everywhere, great jimping, double thumb studs, and a really off-the-charts blade shape. Viper makes a lot of knives, including some slip joints, which you should check out. I will also leave the link to the Viper Knives webpage, and you can see some of those for yourself. Here is a quick compare with a good old Griptilian for size. Oh yeah, a little bigger than a Griptilian. What'd you think? Well, let's bring out one of the bigger guns, Rat-1 from Ontario. Also dwarfed by this knife, just to give you an idea of its 10-inch size. We're going to do a little paper cutting here. Since it decided it wanted to cut me, I figure I'm going to let it cut some paper for you. I mean, that's what cut me. Laser blade. Particularly in the first section of the blade there. And it's pretty sharp too in the forward section of the blade. I would say not quite, but almost. And that's probably because of the geometry, where we've got a little shallower grind there and a little deeper grind here. Again, I'm not thinking it's hollow. I'm just not feeling a hollow in there. And this is a fingerprint magnet. It's satin, but it's kind of a very shiny, polished satin. You can see that it does have the satin grind marks there. There they are. But it is shiny. So, hope you enjoyed that review. I will have at least one more Viper knife that's on the way that I'm going to do a review on. And we'll have that for you probably in a few days or so, as soon as it comes in. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. I'll be back soon.